Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Urban Fantasy Book Club on the Neon Caster stream. I am your host, Nathan Blades, the androgynous android game show host from the future, and I am feeling especially Vaporwave today, as you can see from the lighting, from the fit, and from the Apollo mug that I will be drinking out of today. I have two very fantastic guests with me. I have Will.
Greetings, children.
Hello. And we also have Tom.
Evening, gents.
By the fact that nobody is screaming about horrendous roboting, I think the audio is actually good now, which is nice. OBS in the past liked to, despite my settings, make us very, very crunchy when we immediately go on air, so I'm glad it is working correctly. But if that's going well, I can ask how both of you are. How are you enjoying being cooped up in your homes?
It is embarrassing, similar to my normal routine.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. It's like, not going outside, sitting playing video games. It's basically like, well, my weekends just extended a bit.
Wait, I thought I'd adjust to it in that kind of way. Oh, the sound is good. Wonderful. Nice. Hi, hello. I thought I'd adjust to it really well, being like, I am also nerd. Oh, and I also have lots of, technology projects to do. So clearly, this will suit me just fine. And then I was like, I want to go step outside and hang out with my friends, and then realized I can't do that, and I was like, oh.
You can no longer go to the pub or people will die. This is terrible.
Yeah, that kind of thing. In fact, both Tom and I have had a holiday to Japan cancelled, so we are both in our feelings. So I figured what better way to get out of our feelings is to play video games about 90s nostalgia that never truly existed. And we can kind of revel through that level of nostalgic faux consumerism instead of going and experiencing that in person. Because today we are playing a game called Self-Checkout Unlimited, made by Argent Games. They actually approached me, interestingly, which makes me feel like an important person. I don't know, I think they thought they saw some of our previous book club content and were like, they're not embarrassing, somehow. Let's go and tell them about our latest game. So, this is a walking simulator through a very elegant and haunting American-style shopping mall. And that is really the only thing it tells you, and they've not really said anything else about what happens in this game. So I'm very, very interested to see how that goes. Do either of you have a bit of a mall background when you were a teenager? Did you hang out at your local shopping mall?
I didn't myself. Malls always felt very sterile and corporate, I guess.
Sorry, just having a choking fit.
No, it's all good.
Unfortunately, far too small a town for shopping malls where I grew up. So I think we had the local co-op, and that was about it.
Yeah, no. I grew up a Londoner. I'm a city kid through and through. So I definitely hung out at shopping malls a lot as a teenager, and then as like an unemployed, just out of university adult. So the idea of hanging out in the space where there's everything is something that I am tragically used to. Maybe not a good thing, but to that end, the whole kind of like that side of genre of Vaporwave, Mallsoft as it's known, actually does genuinely strike a chord for me, of like really massive spaces that echo shitty top 40s pop music, while people run around to expensive fashion stores carrying cups of coffee is genuinely what I grew up with. So I'm looking forward to being exceedingly called out. But anyway, format of show. I am not somebody who's very good at playing video games well or quickly, so I invented Urban Fantasy Book Club and Cyberpunk Book Club as ways to go and play genres of video games that I love and talk about them as media texts rather than things to speedrun. So before we hop into the game, we're going to be talking a little bit about the themes that we expect to see in this game, and maybe some of the things we might predict or we're excited to see explored, and then we're going to go and play it for a couple hours, and then on the other side of that we're going to talk about what kind of cool ideas it had, what maybe ideas we could take from it and put into our own games, or what kind of things we might look for games in the future. So in terms of themes that we expect, I guess a pretty kind of obvious one is going to be like what is 90s mall culture, and the fact that neither of you really had the 90s mall culture experience. I'm actually really interested to see what you think that is, whether it's something that was just TV told you, or whether you
to be fair, I saw that adaptation of what was it, oh no, Matt, what's the opera about the masked guy who's sad?
Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, Phantom of the Opera. I saw the adaptation of that, except it was like in a 90s mall, and also he was a killer, I think. So I'm pretty sure I know everything I need to know about this.
Yep.
If you were to sum up the mall in 3 words, what would that be, Will?
Oh, sparkly consumerism. I think I did in 2.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Too many people.
There we go. That would actually be really interesting to see in walking simulators, because usually the genre of game, it's very depopulated. It's very rare for you to kind of have a walking simulator where there's like lots and lots of other people to talk to or interact with, or even kind of like muscle past. It tends to be a bit sparse. Although recently we did play Broken Reality, which is also a very vaporwave walking simulator. That one's specifically set on a kind of like a virtual reality website, and that one is actually quite populated, full of bizarre mannequin NPCs, and I wonder if this is going to have a similar thing. Are there any other things that we might expect out of the game, aside from sparkly consumerism and possibly too many people?
A kind of labyrinthine physical layout. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Labyrinth malls can be pretty fun.
Yeah, certainly plenty of stuff they can play with the size and the scope of the thing. I'm expecting parody shops, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, the good call on the kind of like maze-like layout, because obviously video games can have spaces that lie to you really easily. Everybody's familiar with the kind of like Lost Woods style puzzles in The Legend of Zelda, where you get looped back to the start of the maze if you take a wrong turn. Video games are really good at doing that. I guess it also makes me think of like did you ever watch the movie version of The Shining?
No.
That is set in an abandoned hotel, and a way that they made the hotel really eerie is that the layout of the hotel doesn't make sense if you draw it out as like a map. So if you follow where the camera goes and where the rooms are supposed to be, hallways overlap with each other, rooms are too large or too small to make sense in the space. And it's really kind of like subtle, almost meta-textual way of making the space really unnerving. So I wonder if they're going to kind of do similar kind of playing with space for the mall. That's a really good shout. And yes, parody shops. I need to see at least one parody McDonald's in this video game.
Called shot, I need to see a Radio Shack or Radio Shack alike.
So we never got Radio Shack in the UK. We had like Maplin's, but Radio Shack is like an electronics store, right? It has lots of components for pieces.
Yeah, it's less like buying you're not going to go there to buy a graphics card, really, but maybe you can buy some like walkie-talkies and a keyboard or something like that.
Ah, yes, we are going to have another member of the DK crew, another member of Phantom Arts Entertainment join us on stream in a little bit. Radio Shack is where I bought my last quote-unquote creative brand MP3 player. Ooh, back in the day where they were going head-to-head against the Zune. I get that era, absolutely. Okay. I think with those themes, we can get into that delicious game footage. First of all, I'm going to make sure that screen share is going to be working for the people who are with me in the Discord. That is very important. Self-checkout limited. There we go. You can see the game footage?
Yep.
Beautiful. With that, let's go and switch over to game footage, shall we? Bum bum bum.
Where are we seeing? Oh, I see it on screen.
Right. How is volume levels? I think I might drop the volume of it just a little bit. There we go. So I don't deafen myself. Broken Reality was very, very loud. So hopefully this will be better. Your attention, please.
Your attention, please.
Ooh, it is voiced.
All mall areas are now closed.
Spoiled.
Oh.
If you believe you've mistakenly left a personal item inside the mall, please contact the security team at the number listed by the entrance.
Ooh. A little bit of judder, but we're okay.
Thank you for choosing Wilson Center Mall. We hope to see you again soon.
It's a lot more ominous than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very quiet, very shiny. Gosh, maybe I'm just used to kind of like retro video games and indie games that share. Oh, Birthday. What a store.
That's a plausible name.
I'm very used to like indie games that kind of give a retro aesthetic, so they tend to not be heavy on like reflective surfaces or bloom or anything super HD. So I am always actually quietly impressed when I get to see really fancy reflection effects, and the fact that my computer can handle fancy reflection effects is actually quite novel for me. Oh god, this room is very dark.
I'm expecting jump scares.
Yeah. I mean, we did System Shock 2 as a Halloween stream, and I had a bad time at that. Oh, okay. Is it E to interact? Oh, in a universe full of opportunity, why not rewire yourself? Explore our variety of stores and widen your world here at Wilson Center Mall. Should you encounter any issues during your time at the faculty facility, please call blah 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, closed malls are definitely very creepy. I think I went to go see Parasite at one of the large malls in London at like a 9 o'clock showing, and we left basically at midnight. And with that fully closed down and empty, it was actually kind of unnerving to walk back in. So I definitely get the vibe. Also, off the back of watching Parasite, I was in a very emotionally sensitive state at the time. Ah, yes, TM brand figurine.
This is clearly MTTM.
I didn't turn myself around. I think this is not the. Oh no, this was the way where I came in. God damn it. Okay.
Yeah, you tipped.
Is that a locked door? Can I? No, that's not a door. Can I get to the till? Oh.
I don't know if there's something you're supposed to.
I am very short. Am I a kid?
This is just what normal height's like for everyone else, Nathan.
That is true. I am a very tall boy.
See how it feels, Nathan.
I'm a very tall boy in real life. I wonder if I am in normal first-person shooters. What is the key for like accidentally crouching?
Use shift or shift or control.
Nope. No, not changing height, mashing those. So.
I mean, I'd think you'd be able to hit escape, go to options, and look at your keybinds.
True. Options. Yeah, Placid and E to interact. No.
No crouch.
No crouch. I do have a box over. Oh. That is probably solved by the poster on the wall.
MOBOES.
Yeah, that looked like a rewire. Okay, there we go. Solving puzzles off the bat. There we go. We did it.
Big brain maven.
Ha! I'm an excellent person. Labyrinthine
Wonderful.
check. There we go. Phone cord inside. See, I've played all the Zero Escape games. You can't foil me with a locked box puzzle.
God, this is really making me want to write a net battler session in it.
Okay.
Ooh.
I guess we're not going to. Oh.
Vent.
Advance.
Ooh. Go left.
Left to advance.
Absolutely.
Game Boy Advance, come on.
What did you say earlier about Net Battler session in a mall?
Oh yeah, this is making me want to prepare a third psychological horror session.
Oh. I mean, there is a Net Battlers session in a mall that I've written previously. I should actually commit that to PDF at some point. Nourish or threaten. Nourish? I am not one.
Look to the right, like 90 degrees.
I think these are like coat racks and stuff.
There's more coat racks than before, so I was wondering.
Yeah. The two genders defend and advanced.
In this house we nourish.
And we get baby lullaby music. Okay. This is very high concept. Protected or wilderness?
Wilderness.
Yeah, no, I think I'm more. I think I might be more wilderness than protected. I'm enjoying the neon lighting, but this is definitely.
Does etch into the retinas a bit.
Yeah. Interestingly, we're getting traffic noises, not like nature noises. Interesting. The known and the unknown. Now this is the two genders. I definitely identify as unknown. That works. Ooh. I mean, I guess when the concept of the walking simulator was new, they were all very like, yes, art game. But this is filling some art game vibes, I think.
Yeah.
I am not okay. Oh, okay, that's just the only option. I mean, mood, but yeah, I am definitely a tiny kid who walks very slow. Bowling pins? Baseball bats, okay.
Birthday.
Okay. Oh, okay, right, cool. Calling for help. Just Daltone. but I assume outside things have changed. Oh. Ominous thumping.
Nope, now locked in.
Oh, that's me. That's me knocking on the. Yeah.
Nope.
I have no hands, so it was hard to tell.
Thank you for choosing Wilson Center Mall. We're always delighted to have you with us. Did you know
Help?
the first holiday sale is happening this weekend? Don't forget to stop by the wide selection of stores and attractions we have for you. We also invite you to visit our newly renovated food court, located on the ground floor. Grab some of your favorite comfort food and make yourself at home here at Wilson. And remember, if you're ever experiencing difficulties inside the mall, please contact our management office. They will always be happy to assist you. We hope
Yay.
you have a wonderful shopping
Contact our
experience.
essentialism
Thank
office.
you.
Yeah, this is very clippy level help, Elfern. I agree. Now this area's opened up. This was just a wall before. Interestingly, a lot of the UK malls didn't really have this kind of like tree planted inside the space kind of deal. Probably because it would be a nightmare to actually take care of.
Oh, yeah.
Argent
American malls did.
Games.
Oh.
Thank you for visiting Wilson Center Mall.
Oh.
We'd like to welcome all our new shoppers today. Here at Wilson, we work hard to fulfill all your needs in one place. If you should ever get lost inside the mall, please locate one of our convenient maps, which will always point you where you need to go. We know shopping can be stressful at many stores, but we promise to make your time here an amazing experience.
This is very opening of Hypnospace Outlaw energy.
Thank
Yeah, I
you
was
for
thinking
visiting
that.
Wilson Center Mall. Your choices mean everything to us.
A fun fact, I had actually heard about this game prior, and specifically because is that it? Is that the entire demo? Oh no. Please tell me there's more game than that.
Uh-oh.
You're kidding. Yo, alright. That was way shorter than expected.
So what did we all think? What can we take from it?
Oh shit. So a fun
Speed run.
a fun thing to note. I had heard about this game prior to this Kickstarter going live, and the reason why I knew about it is because they were taking casting calls for the voice acting. And I was kind of like, can I do enough of like a salesman accent? Not an American one, because I could never do a convincing American accent. But kind of like, welcome to Wilson Center Mall, where we have all things available for you. That kind of. So I sent in a voice demo. They did not get back to me, interestingly enough. Rip. I'm gonna it pushed it back to full screen, so I'm gonna turn it back to windowed, please. There we go. This is going to be since the stream is so short. I think let's queue up another game. I guess.
I would say it might be worth giving it another run to see if the choices you made in the ethereal poster space changed anything about the ending.
That is a very
Because,
good
like,
point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It did very explicitly say, like, your choices are important to us. Your choices mean everything. It could go somewhere.
Yeah, no, okay. That sounds like a solid plan. Also because, you know, that was way shorter than expected. But yeah, they did not call me back. Well, I guess they called me back to tell me that the game went into Kickstarter, but I ain't mad at it. Okay, yes, let's speed run this this mall experience.
All mall areas are
And also
now
good
closed.
to look for other things you didn't see before.
That's
If
true.
you've mistakenly left a personal item inside the mall, please contact the security team at the number listed by the entrance.
Is this where we play the renegade route?
Choosing Wilson Center Mall. We hope to see you again soon.
You need to find a corner where you can build up speed for a couple hours to.
Yeah, if I turnip skip through the wall.
I was going to say there's a distinct lack of bunny hopping going on here, Nathan.
There's no
It's a
jump
proven
key.
time.
There's no jump button.
Sounds like
That's a
Twitter
terrible
talk to me.
excuse.
I just need to open Unity and I don't know what this game is programmed in, but I assume Unity. And just hack my way into the secret room that I wasn't supposed to previously go in. I didn't actually notice that there was a poster, that there wasn't a poster on the wall by the phone the first time round.
No, me neither.
Yeah. There's not a ton of things in here. We had baseball bats. We had build. Gotta love me some build. I am actually surprised, considering it's just the one store, that they decided to not go for the puzzle.
Huh.
I think all of these are reversed, or actually they're too dark to see, but
That's part of the puzzle.
it's foreshadowing for the type of game this is. That's not great. I hate this thing. That's bad. You
Ugh.
have a feeling it is watching you. Oh yeah, no, there isn't a poster on this wall. Huh. A whole ass gun. Is the gun branded? Sorta. Left-handed puzzles. Yeah. Okay, I assume this particular that puzzle hasn't changed. So let's go and dive into. I guess it's kind of interesting that there's a whole puzzle component in this space, like, you know, under what within the fiction of the game world. Why is the phone wire locked inside a puzzle box? That's interesting.
I found it such a weird disconnect between how sort of lively and what I expected the title screen to be like compared to the actual start of the game.
I definitely appreciate tonal shifts in media. I think having more time at the what we would have expected would have been a fun way to lead into it.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be kind of cheerful mall times, and then it moves into like the spooky times, but it starts off spooky quite straight away. Okay, so I defend this time. I protect.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the
This
audio
is how you
cues
choose
also
teams in
change.
Team Fortress 2.
Defense is the sound of the ocean, apparently. And we still get threaten and nourish. Let's choose threaten this time.
So if nourish was baby noises, threaten is going to be old man noises.
It's glitch noises. And protected in the wilderness. I mean, I assume just by choosing all the opposite choices, then there's something significant on the other side.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Radio static. Known and unknown. Let's go for known. this one has tunes.
Are you ready? It's almost time.
We still get the I'm not okay section at the end. I was wondering if that would be different.
I think it's likely that I'm not okay is probably a constant, but it could be a, like, it could be relying on you to get a quote-unquote consistent selection of choices.
I guess I was reading that as the internal thoughts of the player, like the player is not okay. But I suppose this might be whoever's trapping you in the mall isn't okay. We get the highlighting that I'm trapped. Oh right, I need to put the phone cord in. That's. I've ruined the run. It was a new PB. I was on gold split, and then I flubbed it right there.
Turns out it was just a troll level, stuck in a box. Should be a spike somewhere around here to get yourself killed on. Restart it again.
Yeah. Has this ever been used? You are trapped.
Oh, so shutters outside as well.
Because those shutters opened up to let us wander along there before, so...
Yeah.
I wonder if we go back the way we came, if we see anything new. If we don't answer, I don't think the gate goes up, so we have to answer to proceed, I think.
Thank you for choosing Wilson Center Mall. We're
That's
always
true.
delighted to have you with us.
Although I have a feeling you get ignored.
Did you know our first holiday sale is happening this weekend?
So nothing really changes on the second playthrough.
Stores and attractions we have for you.
Which
We also invite you to visit our newly renovated food court, located on the ground floor.
no,
Grab some of your favorite comfort food and make yourself at home here at Wilson.
Flowey did not involve
Remember,
themselves.
If you're ever
in
experiencing
the narrative this time.
difficulties inside the mall, please contact our management office. They will always be happy to assist you.
Although
We hope you have a wonderful shopping experience. Thank you.
I shouldn't try and talk over the VA, because the VA has a much more powerful voice than mine. Yeah, I suppose there's nothing wrong with a kind of like narrative experience being like linear, kinetic visual novels where you just kind of go through the story. Umineko is one of those. There's a famous one called Juniper's Knot. That's also a kinetic novel, where you even though it's interactive and that there's graphics and sound and everything, you're just pushing the text along, and that's okay. Stuff like the Beginner's Guide is a walking simulator that is very that. It's a linear experience, but it still manages to be cool. Although I think this game does actually kind of predicate itself on there being choices that matter. I was actually kind of expecting that in the demo. No, this is blocked off.
Yeah, it's always that interesting choice where the making a walking simulator needs to be doing something to add to it. Then, I mean, admittedly, in this particular case, it looks very nice, and there's, I said, the suspicion that the choice is going to mean something. But then, in certain situations, you're going to ask, could you have done this as voice and text and stills?
Yeah, no, I suppose so. There's definitely like this idea could have been done as like a 90s point and click style adventure game. I could have seen that as an experience as well. It means that you actually get to see the player. How do you guys feel? Oh, I suppose this is a conversation we can have back in the book club discussion space rather than here. But I'm kind of interested about what you guys feel in preferred adventure game format, because obviously it was back in the day, it was text adventures, then it was Monkey Island style point and clicks, and now first person experiences are a lot of big way to do adventure games now, and people feel different ways about each of them. I historically have not played that many first-person games, so I always find this style of play experience actually a little awkward.
Thank you for visiting Wilson Center Mall.
Indeed.
We'd like to welcome all our new shoppers today.
Can I skip it?
Here
I
at
can't.
Wilson, we work hard to fulfill all your needs in one place.
They're working hard to fulfill your needs.
If you should ever get lost inside the mall, please locate one of our convenient maps, which will always point you where you need to go. We know shopping can be stressful at many stores, but we promise to make your time here an amazing experience. Thank you for visiting Wilson Center Mall. Your choices mean everything to us.
Ray brings up a good point. Seems short-sighted if it doesn't demonstrate / capture what's interesting about their game. And I was expecting a bit more of the Mallsoft aesthetic. Oh, full screens afterwards. Hold on. Do. Okay.
Would it be worth pulling their Kickstarter page up? Because I'm just curious what their pitch is.
Yes! Let's absolutely do that. That sounds like a very good idea. I am going to go back to the book club scene for now. There we go. And then I am going to go and pull up the Kickstarter page, which I actually have already handy. Whew. But that was that definitely reminds me of kind of like Game Jam games, in that it's a really kind of tight micro experience. OBS should be able to kind of capture some of that. Yeah, this is a very jank way of doing this, so forgive me. But let's just kind of like wiggle this along a bit as my face slowly gets covered by the sales pitch. There we go. And on Discord, I will switch screens back to OBS so you can see what I'm seeing. Actually, you can just see the window itself. There we go. Yeah. The free demo on itch. The what type of shopper are you quiz? Interesting. We have the time. Do we do that now?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, okay. Let's do this MFing quiz. Wow. The maximum 90s. OBS is picking that up correctly. No, not quite. Okay. Hold on. The live adjustment. Oh no, not like this. Not like this. There we go. We did it. I know how to use computer. Self-checkout unlimited. What kind of shopper are you? What kind of shopper are you? Take the quiz and find out now. Who are we collectively taking the quiz as a hive mind, or is one specific person taking this quiz?
I think you should take this. I'm taking this myself.
Okay, sure.
Stream, and I will report my findings.
Mm-hmm. Out of these stores, which one appeals to you the most? A unique intellectual store filled with books and learning tools. A warm, cozy store that makes you feel comfortable and nostalgic. A reliable, widely accessible store with a good community and staff you strongly admire. A bold, eye-catching store that lets you express yourself however you want. What is my favorite store? It's like record shops, right? I guess. If you ask my teen self, these alone could be the same store. Yes. Yes, this could all very easily be Borders back in the day. Before that closed. RIP Borders, where I bought my first ever manga. It was the second volume of Samurai Deeper Kyo. Not the first. They didn't have the first in stock. And I didn't buy the third, so I think that gave a very strong impression of what I thought about that particular manga. I am going to pick a bold, eye-catching store that lets you express yourself. If someone described you positively, they'd say that you were... Oh, what did you pick, Will, I guess?
Oh, I picked that one too.
If someone described you positively, they say you were loyal, honest, and a good role model for others. No. Absolutely not. Strong, confident, and unafraid to defend your beliefs. I am, as the people on the internet describe as woke, so maybe. Intelligent, logical, and reliable in your decisions. No, not especially. I am not especially logical. Intelligent, maybe. Push on a good day. Gentle, diplomatic, and incredibly easygoing. Absolutely not. I'm an intense bitch at all times. So I'm going to say strong, confident, and thank you, darling. Strong, confident, and unafraid to defend your beliefs. Do I factor in this quiz into our kind of like book club evaluations at the end? Maybe. When faced with a difficult social problem, how do you usually deal with it? Oh, what did you pick, Will, for the...
I picked intelligent and logical.
You do prefer facts over feelings. I'm sorry, that's not true.
I do love to own liberals and with facts and logic, yes.
When faced with a difficult social problem, how do you usually deal with it? Get frustrated, but throw yourself at the problem head on. Find someone else to handle it and stay out of the mess. Reason it out calmly and objectively. Try to figure out a solution that is equally good for everyone. I mean, this is to a degree my job is working in production. Handling social problems within my team is actually a pretty big part of the gig. Figuring out a solution that's equally good for everyone is definitely the modus operandi. What'd you pick?
I picked the same one. It's you can't just go, but have you considered logic with all situations?
I mean, just running away is also a good strat. It's a bold strat. Which one of these personality types are you the most adverse to? An unstable, reckless person who makes you feel unsafe. A sneaky, cowardly person who tries to undermine you. A stubborn, irrational person who refuses to listen to you. A selfish, cold person who never repays your kindness. Stubborn people. Fuck stubborn people who refuse to listen. Ugh.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, I am 2 and 4, so if Nathan picks either of those, then it's not gonna work. But...
You're trying to win someone over. How do you achieve this? Well, first I slide into their DMs, and then I act true to their ideals and beliefs. Be sweet and charming with them. Logically examine their behavior. And figure out what actions please them. Just the phrasing of that. Figure out what actions please them is not great. Not great, not a fan. I don't know. I must admit, at my worst, I am pretty manipulative. I would be sweet and charming, I think. Revealing my flaws.
I would feel like number 3 would be the most manipulative one. That's why I picked it.
Someone rudely cuts in front of you at the checkout line. How do you react? Well, clearly I kick off. Say nothing and stay in line. Push your way back in front of them. Hell yeah. Explain to them that you were here first and go to a different, shorter line. You would figure that if they were cutting in, they would probably have gone to the shorter line, but that's fine. I would explain to them that I was there first. Probably fronting it with a well, actually. If I had to describe my personality as an element, it's air.
Yeah, I did the same.
You're pulled into a loud argument by somebody challenging your moral beliefs. Oh, intense, okay.
I've been staring at this one for like over a minute, just going...
Trying to calm them down and find common ground. Leave the room. You have no interest in arguing about this. Strongly defend your position until they retreat. Patiently explain why your beliefs make the world a better place. If it's something that I think this would be pushing at, I am not a teacher. I may work in education, but I am not a teacher. It is not my job to teach people about things they could just Google themselves. So I am very much a leave the room kind of situation. Ray is a patiently explain and then a leave the room situation. And yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. However, I have vanishingly less. Punch the fash. Yes, there we go. That's the answer. It's, weirdly enough, not one. I guess it's the strongly defend your position. Is the punch the fash answer? Which,
people tend to retreat when they've got a broken nose.
Yeah. True facts. But no, I would leave the room. Finally, which one of these stores would I want to visit the most? Oh, so this is actually, I guess, preamble for what's in the game itself, because we have already been to Birthday.
Yep.
Although I don't know how I feel about there being a store that is just genuinely and unironically named Birthday. I think I would probably be My Lifestyle. Is what I would pick. So give me my result. What kind of shopper am I? I am the social shopper. Okay.
Oh man, I'm a reason shopper.
Was there actually anything birthday related in it? Because I don't think there was. There was not. It was a toy store.
I think they could passably be birthday gifts. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
For kids.
Just specifically for kids. Gigantic, ominous bunny rabbit is the perfect birthday gift.
Well, I assume from like an analytical perspective, they're just doing it so this is effectively the first starting point of the character, and it's going to develop on from there.
Oh yeah.
Almost if the height thing was obviously a deliberate choice, or well, obviously the height thing was a deliberate choice, but if that was you note it as well.
Do I age over the course of my mall adventure, my mall venture? But sorry, dramatically reading the result of my quiz, because personality quizzes are the best way to understand oneself. You are a social shopper. Social shoppers are most in tune with society and their morality. They have a strong sense of right and wrong, and this awareness guides them through many of their relationships and life choices. Whether introverted or extroverted, they are acutely aware of and care about society and the rest of humanity. For some social shoppers, this translates into an interest in politics or social issues, while others may find expression through art or spiritual beliefs. What the fuck does this have to do with shopping? Though their personalities differ greatly, most social shoppers tend to feel very passionately about their personal codes and hold others to the same standards. Their favorite stores are often related to culture, history, spirituality, art, music, romance, or beauty. Well, yes, I do hit up the cheap makeup counter in Boots. Absolutely. I think given they didn't demonstrate the impact of choice in their demo, you might be overselling the ideas in this game with the aging protagonist. Maybe. I don't want to read them for filth based on the demo. I don't know their life. It might go into interesting directions. We don't know yet. But Will, would you mind dramatically reading this logical shopper?
Most certainly. You're a reason shopper.
Ooh.
Reason shoppers are highly logical, practical thinkers. They view most things concretely, seeking out what makes the world tick and building strong mental maps. If the map doesn't make sense, however, these shoppers can find themselves deeply frustrated. They often have a complex relationship with their feelings or a sense of spirituality, which are frequently at odds with their rational preferences. A reason shopper shines the brightest when their plans go as desired. And when they don't, there's always a new solution resting just around the corner. Their favorite stores are usually related to books, science, learning, technology, writing, craftsmanship, language, and the environment. Want to discover more?
Interestingly, I like how both of these results talk about spirituality in some way. I'm continuing to give the benefit of the doubt the fact that that's really high up on the Kickstarter page. Going back to the Kickstarter page very briefly, that feels important if that's like one of the first things that they mention as part of the campaign info. Let's go back to the beginning. Summary: empty shopping mall after closing time, lost and alone in the picture-perfect labyrinth. As sunset slowly approaches, navigate between surreal stores to find the exit key, with only 2 cheerful PA announcers to keep you company. Can you unravel the mystery of the journey before it's time to say goodbye? 1 to 2 hours in full time. So, you know, this might be a thing I'll return to once it actually releases in summer 2020. And see, because 1 to 2 hours is actually pretty perfect for book club. It's an 8-circuit model of consciousness. Oh, it's a philosophy game.
Surreal also.
I mean, okay, so maybe this is this is now looking at the Kickstarter into an ARG, but I am interested about the concept of the 8-circuit model of consciousness, so I will highlight that to go and Google in a different window while we go back to the actual book club thing. So, while we can vamp for time for a little bit while I go and look up what the fuck that even is, what kind of ideas are now knocking around in your baby brains? Your discovery, imaginative brains upon having seen the short demo? What kind of ideas are you like, yes, what can we take away from it?
Honestly, I want to see where they go with for the rest of it, because I felt that demo sort of... It showed off the engine and a few of the ideas quite well, but I couldn't quite see where they were going to go with it. Mm-hmm. If it was just going to be more shops, more choices. I appreciate it's probably leading up for something at the end, but yeah, I felt... I don't want to be mean about it, but I felt like it was lacking something.
No, I agree. Sorry, typing at the same time. Yeah, the idea of demonstrating when it's kind of in the top line that the choices matter. I was expecting that to be reflected in the demo a little bit as well, and also seeing maybe more of them all. I was part of my I didn't put it in the themes that we expect section, but I was expecting a food court. Like I want to go and wander around the big American food court and then look at the gross things that they try and sell.
It was mentioned, but in the phone call, but that was about it. So yeah. It did feel like a very, very early demo, which obviously it probably was, but yeah.
The 8-circuit model of consciousness is a hypothesis by Timothy Leary. 24 stages of neurological evolution. The 8 circuits, or 8 brains, quote-unquote, are referred by other authors. Human nervous system, each corresponding imprint experience of reality. Ooh, okay. It's about altered states of consciousness, enlightenment, mystical experiences, psychedelia, psychic abilities, so on and so forth. Just to give the list of the headlines of these 8 circuits: the oral biosurvival circuit, the anal territorial circuit, the semantic time binding circuit, the socio-sexual circuit, the neurosomatic circuit, the metaprogramming circuit, the morphogenetic circuit, which, if you're a fan of the Zero Escape series, morphogenetic field is something that comes up in that a lot, and the non-local quantum circuit. Those are definitely some strong headlines. The anal territorial circuit is
I was like, what was that second one again?
is particularly spicy as a conceit. I do wonder if that is something that would be explored along with the socio-sexual circuit. What? So hey, I guess that's the thing to look forward to upon playing the game. The idea of I see. Also, kind of looking at this Wikipedia page, the phrases of "I'm okay, you're okay," "I'm not okay, you're okay," "I'm not okay, you're not okay," and in the demo there was that big sign that said "I'm not okay," so I guess it relates to that. These different pairings of being okay and not okay are related to the 4 elements. It all seems to tie in. They clearly have thought about the themes in great detail. Having now played that quiz, playing the quiz was a good idea. I think that actually explained a surprising amount.
Yeah.
How strange. Maybe that quiz should have been a demo itself.
We have examined the anal territory.
God. Okay, so I guess one of the ideas to take away is, like, if you're going to go into what's the specific name for these kind of things that isn't like woo, because that's rude. Metaphysics. Yeah, that's the term that people like to use for describing, you know, the morphogenetic field and things like that. Metaphysics are an interesting concept to explore. And this whole kind of like weird, these like 8 stages of one's brain and stuff makes me think of stuff like Myers-Briggs. If you've ever done those kind of personality tests before, it's basically horoscopes but for corporations. But that general like idea of like horoscopes but are taken seriously by corporate feels very Mallsoft in the aesthetic, right? You know, prosperity in business through psychic linking, arranging the mall to be feng shui perfect to make you spend more. Those definitely feel like things that architects in the 90s probably would genuinely believe in and try to build a mall around.
Yep.
Myers-Briggs. Any other kind of like thoughts about ideas to take away, or shall we wrap this thing up?
You know, I think this is a really interesting commentary on how consumerism just basically discards the identity in favor of looking upon the user just as a vessel for consumption.
I also noticed that I didn't have any hands as I was in first person mode.
I was more making a joke about how the way you self-label didn't actually end up to do anything.
That's true. That's true. False choices can be really interesting in games, but they are fiddly to do right. Because I remember when like Spec Ops: The Line was really new, and that game kind of like encouraged you to be a soldier and shoot a bunch of people, and then it reveals down the line that they're civilians, and you should feel really bad. But then when you play through the game with that in mind, you can see the specific points where it's pushing you to do the bad thing and you have no choice. Or like lots of early the people who did like The Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead and Telltale games. Yeah, where their early like choose your own adventure kind of stuff, because nobody had seen anything like it before, had a lot of false choices in it, I think.
I do kind of like the concept that you are doing something without actually consciously realising it. I say it's why the old Bioshock twist is so spectacular just for that. Oh yes, he did say that every time.
The would you kindly stuff. Yeah. I wonder if this would do the same. This does have a narrator or 2 narrators who are kind of talking to you across the experience. That are probably going to influence your decisions as you play. I am genuinely quite interested to see what this looks like as a whole on the other side. I really want to see how they square the circle on this particular very unique style of psychology, because we're all used to seeing like Jungian psychology in video games at this point. There's been enough Persona video games where we can talk about shadows and things like that and understand what that means. But this is definitely a new one to me. I've not heard of this one before, so it would be interesting to kind of learn a bit more about it, even if indirectly. I've always been the kind of person who'll finish a game and then do a whole bunch of reading about what went into making it and learn more about the ideas. Finishing Hypnospace Outlaw and then kind of digging into Jay Tholin, the writer's like personal experiences of like late 90s, early noughties internet, and the specific websites and stuff that he was referencing and putting that game together, and you're like, oh yeah, I genuinely see how those influences have inspired the content therein. And this one looks like if I go and look up some of the inspirations I could find something pretty wild. But okay, all right, so go and quickly close this out. We're in a weird point where we don't really have like a ton of time to do like a different game, so I guess this is just going to be a shorter stream than normal, and that's okay. We can go to bed at a sensible hour this time, and that's fine. What is city life to this game? Which I think is a really difficult question to answer from the kind of like demo size that it's given, but if anybody has any suggestions as to what that might be.
I think almost it's one of those ones it might be worth coming back to once the actual game itself comes out, to give sort of a bigger picture of it, because I think we saw a corridor and a shop.
Yeah, it doesn't really give us too much information as to what the game wants to say. It's talked about it in passing through a side quiz. I guess that's one thing that I want to add in the ideas to take away. Adding a quiz to your, adding a personality quiz to your game that also reveals ideas about the game is actually really fun. I really like that idea. I wish that quiz was in the game proper rather than a side quiz.
Yeah.
Be right back, writing a bit mystically. What kind of witch are you?
Yes. Everyone loves BuzzFeed style personality.
I hate the fact that my inner English class student is really tempted to wax philosophical about the devoid nature of them all reflects the distance of city life. How though we may walk by each other, none of us are truly sharing a space.
But they just haven't modeled another store yet, I guess. Yeah, no, I think you're right, Tom. A lot of this is going to wait. I guess I'll return to this game in summer 2020 and play through the full experience of the game. The quiz was great. Okay,
yep.
Let's go and wrap this thing up. I guess this is the opportunity to do promo for two pretty important things. Next week, we will be starting a tabletop RPG campaign on twitch.tv/the Neoncaster. This is the first time I've done an actual campaign streamed. We've done single one-shots of tabletop RPGs. It is, in fact, a Jungian psychology urban fantasy game based on the Persona video games called Arcana Core. And two of the people featuring on that campaign are in this call right now. Both Will and Tom will be players on that campaign, and I'm very excited to play with them both. I don't know. The best way to kind of like talk about this is the thing. Will, tell me one thing you're like hype about this game, just as like as a teaser. What kind of thing are you hyped to see?
Oh man, I am hyped to pull off some smug book magic. Just cracking open a hardback and doing the whole anime, like pushing the glasses up my nose as they glint.
Your character art doesn't have glasses yet. That needs to be corrected.
I don't know if Lucian physically has glasses, but he spiritually has glasses.
There we go. Good. And Tom, what are you maybe hyped for this upcoming campaign?
I must admit the opportunity to be playing some sort of borderline sleazy scumbag fence type character who may now be doing massive sidelines in hand sanitizer and toilet roll.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to write an entire mystery that like references the current state of affairs. It's also a mystery solving RPG because I love writing mysteries and I wanted to share that with the world. But yes, on Sunday 29th at, I think currently it's going to be 6 p.m. GMT, which is, I think, about 2 or 3 p.m. EDT. Time zones are weird, but around that kind of early afternoon in the US. We are going to be doing our live session 0, which is revealing more about the game itself, about the characters and the people that are going to be playing in it, and then we're going to be building the city of Jungsburg. Yes, subtlety is for cowards. Together in lead up to the first session next month. And the other thing that I'd like to talk about before we go and vanish our separate ways, and you guys giving out your social networking if you'd like to, the Phantom Arts Entertainment now has a Patreon, because it's actually really expensive to pay for hosting for things. Roll20 for large amount of memory is actually not free. So there is actually, like, down in the Twitch doobly-doo, there is a link to the Patreon. I am on a regular basis putting up the one-page RPGs I'm writing alongside scenarios I have written for a variety of systems in shiny PDF that you can take away for the low price of $1. Yeah, please support the channel and help us commission artists for really good token artwork for these good children, these good psychic children. And with yeah, oh, you know, I am indeed. There's oh god, you put me on a tangent. There's an actual play podcast called Dungeons and Daddies, which is about literal dads in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons, and the person who's DMing likes to call himself the Daddy Master, and it makes me laugh and horribly upset in equal measures. Yes, Will, where can people find you in your work, aside from on this Twitch channel?
Well, if you'd like to find more about me, you can follow me on Twitter at Raffi the Owl. That is Raffi the Owl. I trust you can spell those. Mm-hmm. And if you want to check out some tabletop RPGs, tell some stories about frickin' Sonic the Hedgehog original characters, ironically or not, Hamtaros, or Bastard Witches, check out MaryMancerGames.com. That's Mary, MANCER Games.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a bunch of really cool one-pagers, which I would also like to run on the channel at one point soon. Yeah, because one-pagers are cool, and they're a really good way of just, like, having a burst of RPG without making it high-pressure long-form, because we now already have a high-pressure long-form thing. Tom, if you would like to be found on the internet, where would you be found?
I would like not to be found on the internet, especially given I'm self-isolating at the moment.
Absolutely. I love and respect that decision.
It might be good to mention where people can find the Kickstarter for this video game if they so desire to.
Oh yes, indeedy. Self-Checkout Unlimited is absolutely on Kickstarter right now, and I'm going to go and paste the URL for said Kickstarter in the Twitch chat, so then you can go and back it yourself if you would like. It has, at time of recording, 11 days to go, so you still have time to get in on that motherfucker. I have been your androgynous android game show host from the future, Nathan Blades. You can find me absolutely here on Twitch with probably increasing regularity now that we're interred to our rooms, but also on Twitter below at Phantom Arts ENT. You can also listen to my actual play podcast, The Talent Agency, available on Podbean and iTunes. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.